called saying that a parent wanted to talk to me on the phone, and like instantaneously my like stomach dropped, and I was like, oh, there's a parent that wants to talk. So they got me coverage, and I went down, and Dr. Rojas got on the loudspeaker and like just started talking, and then all of a sudden it clicked that it was for Teacher of the Year.
Well, I was really surprised. I was very flattered. It's a very humbling experience to be chosen by my peers, and I was also a little bit relieved because I came in and there was a note in my box from my principal, come see me, and it's, that little panic, what did I do wrong?
Someone even, giving me a chance to be nominated, taking the time to write a letter, a parent or a colleague, that in itself was special.
When I heard my name announced over the loudspeaker, I was taken aback. I was just blown away.
So I was surprised and I cried, of course. I actually nominated a colleague, so I wasn't expecting it. And I was very appreciative to be noticed for the things I do.
It's actually in the office when Mrs. Valentine said it over the loudspeaker, so I was listening to her. I was kind of like, oh, that sounds like me, and then I turned around and she said my name.
I literally couldn't believe it. When they said my name, my jaw probably hit the floor. There was actually another teacher in the room with me, and I turned to her and I was like, did they just say my name?
It was really exciting. I've been doing this for a little while now, so just to have someone take the time to write a letter in, for me to be even considered was very nice.
I felt it was quite an honor to be named Teacher of the Year. I feel like there's a lot of great teachers here at J.P. Stevens, and to be put in that category with those teachers is quite an accomplishment.
It felt very rewarding to be named Teacher of the Year. I was very proud. I was honored to receive such an amazing recognition.
I grew up in Edison, so I went to school here, and I watched all of the teachers, really motivate me, inspire me, also take care of my brother who had a learning disability.
I think teaching is something I've always wanted to do. I used to love the days that my mom would take me with her, and I got to see what she did and what her friends did, and my aunt taught in the same school.
So I'm an ESL teacher, which means I teach children that English is not their first language, and both my parents were immigrants from Italy, and they came here and were immersed in the schools. It was like sink or swim. There was nothing for them, and talking to them was really a struggle. And I have two languages. I speak Italian and English, and so I thought that was a good fit.
In high school, in junior year, I had a fabulous U.S. AP history teacher. We did all projects and simulations and role plays, and it was fascinating, and I thought, this is what I want to do.
When I was in high school, I was given an opportunity as a senior to do service hours with the elementary school we were affiliated with. So I was able to go in every day for 2 hours a day and work with kids in different grade levels, and I just loved it. Just seeing how they would grow from day to day. It was just a really great feeling, and I was like, hey, I want to do this forever.
My aunt, Jan Benzilio Cangelosi, she's been my mentor my entire life. She helped me through college, deciding on a major, persuaded me to interview in Edison. I was a little apprehensive at first because I went to John Marshall, Thomas Jefferson as a child. I went to Edison High School, so I kind of wanted to go off on my own, but it was the right decision. This is my home. So she's really responsible for me becoming a teacher in Edison.
I went to Martin Luther King, I went to John Adams, and I had some teachers that I work with now. And then I went to J.P. Stevens, who again, I had teachers who inspired me. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to make a difference in kids' lives, and I just wanted to make learning fun. So they have always been my inspiration.
In my senior year of high school, I was actually able to take this program called Senior Option, where I was able to leave school every day and go to work at one of the elementary schools in town. So I was in a 4th grade class, and in that program is really where I found my niche in life.
I have a profound to severe hearing loss, and my mom just always made sure that I was like advocating for myself and speaking up for myself, and made sure that I got the best education that I possibly could receive. I realized that I wanted to be able to do that for children as well. Like, I want kids to realize that no matter what the disability is or abilities are, that they can become the best versions of themselves.
Well, I went through the Edison school system, and I had so many great teachers. I had Bob Stasko, I had Janet Lamonaco that was here, and a bunch of other great teachers. And that was one thing, but really, when I was going to college, I started substitute teaching, and at that point, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do, and I substituted for a math class. And I was helping some of the students out, and they said, you explain this in a way that I understand it a lot better. So it made me feel good that I was able to help the students understand it better. And at that point, I felt like I wanted to become a teacher.
What inspired me to be a teacher was my younger brother. My brother has Down syndrome, and at a very young age, I learned that he would need a lot of extra help. So I just naturally took on a very motherly, or very overprotective role. It's because of him that I was inspired to be a teacher.
It makes me so proud to be a small piece to the students' puzzle of life. When they grow up and achieve their goals, no matter how big or how small, every teacher that has had an influence on their education is there with them during that very important moment.
It's all of the success stories and all of the kids that come back and say, I'm 26 years old, and I'm like, oh God, and this is what I'm doing with my life, and it's because of you. And they send me these amazing things. I have a wall behind my desk, and every year I redo the wall, and it gets filled with people that come back that next year just saying, you made a difference, like you changed the way I feel about just life. Forget about English, reading, writing, like you changed my mentality.
Some of the teens I have were he was 4-year-olds. So the cycle, they're coming back. I've had former teens whose children are in the program now. Other teens that tell me, I remember doing this when I was here. I remember this, I remember that. That's so rewarding, that you had a positive impression on them. I think that's, as they say, there's so many memories, I couldn't just single one out.
I had a student, taught a student many years ago who was very secretive in his way that he thought. He didn't like to share a lot, and but he would do things that he wanted you to try to figure out, kind of like a secret code. So my favorite memory is that once I was able to break his code with different colors and symbols, then he opened up and really learned and flourished.
I'm always getting that wow factor with my kids, whether it's working with watercolors and they see how salt changes the effects of the color, or they're mixing paints, they're using their clay, and they see the effects of a print for the first time. I always get that excitement in my room, and they love it, so I'm very fortunate.
So I have a couple kids that actually came to me when they were 3 years old with no language, and I was able to get them again in 3rd grade when I came over here, and I even have had them again in 5th grade. So I think that whole experience has been pretty awesome for me, just to see them from when they were itty-bitty to now these 5th graders going into 6th grade, and how far they've come and how amazing they are is pretty awesome.
One of my favorite memories is always the aha moment, when students are struggling and they finally the light bulb goes off and they get it, and they have such a feeling of accomplishment and excitement, and that makes me happy as a teacher. And then when students reach out, when they're in high school, when they're in college, and they let us know what they're doing, and I love seeing that and seeing their faces later on.